Good morning, everybody, and good morning, Sebastian.
Hey, Harry, how are you doing?
Yeah, doing well, thank you. Doing well. It's been a lovely day in the UK so far, and we're doing our show a little bit later today, so I'm a little bit more awake as well.
Great. So our topic for
Um,
today, should you team up with another agency to offer more services?
yeah,
Yeah, we hit it already last time in our show. And yeah, we decided to make an entire show about it because I think it's really, really important. And we can speak from experience. You have good experience, bad experience. I know the good experience was, or I hope was with me. And um, yeah, you want to start? What's on your mind regarding this?
sure. So to preface it, guys, if you're listening, Sebastian and I at the moment, I have a website design agency, and he has a marketing agency. So at the moment, we've been partnering on marketing services for my company. I don't have a team around marketing, but Sebastian does. So I've leveraged working with him to offer marketing services to my clients, and similar sort of side for him with website design as well. So it's really important actually because we spoke about it last week about the importance of making sure that you can offer similar services to a client, but also the best websites that you make as a designer, freelancer, agency are the ones that have a marketing plan or strategy attached to them as well. We know from working on client projects that you can make a really great website, but if you don't have traffic or anything directed towards it, then it's not going to do very well. And the founders and business owners that you speak to, the best ones are the ones who say, I have plans to do some marketing for this afterwards. Would you recommend anyone? And that's at that point in the natural upsell conversation where you say, I do have a partner that we work with, and I would highly recommend them, and for you to work with this person, right? The biggest thing that I found and an experience that I've had to share with you all is the fact that sometimes when you're offering this, you want to make sure that it's very separate from your agency. We've tried different models where we handle all the work and we have another agency white label for us. We've done a model where we just recommend the agency, they go and talk to the other agency owner and then decide whether they want to work with them as well. I've personally found that the white label, although the white label solution is really good, if you're small, it's not sometimes better to allow the other marketing agency to take the process over, to handle the invoicing and the contracts, and to speak to your client directly. You shouldn't worry about them stealing your client, because at the end of the day, you won't pass them any more work. But it's built upon trust, and that's why I think a very important thing to talk about is building trust with that contact that you have beforehand, right?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And also first to test it maybe with a small project that you have, or maybe you have a friend where you're doing this and it's not so where you have such a tight deadline, And also, for example, we discussed last time monthly income, we had SEO and so on. So if you partner up because you said, hey, I don't want to do SEO, I'm fine with my Webflow agency or doing websites, revise their work, check out their website. Is their website, you can just Google page speed inside or Lighthouse report in your Chrome browser, check if their website is optimized for search engine optimization. If they pray it, but they don't do it, then that might be the first red flag that come up. Or ask them for, maybe on the website, you have some projects of them to see if they did a good job, because you don't want to work with somebody that, what you mentioned already, where you can't rely, and at the beginning there is already not the trust there. So that's what comes to my mind. And the other thing is what I also was thinking, sometimes you have a customer and he wants to do something, and somebody, a partner company, but you're not 100% sure, or you had already problems in the past, then better tell them you don't have anybody, or you can't recommend anybody instead of working with this other agency or this other guy, or you recommend somebody and it's not working well out, because then you're the person that needs to be blamed. And yeah, don't let yourself push into it. I know it from my own experience that that has done this, and I don't want to do the mistake again.
What were the implications of making that mistake? Did you lose the client, or was the relationship hurt because of it?
It's our longest client that we worked so far, and a big issue was the website, because we optimized as good as we could for search engine optimization, but we hit like how do you say, we hit the ceiling, or I don't know the phrase. So we hit something and we couldn't go further because the website was still not responsive, like totally responsive and good optimized. We couldn't do changes by ourselves and we weren't able at this time. We were doing WordPress, so we partnered up with an agency, and it was really expensive for Romania, so it was around 4,000 euros. So we didn't even make from this project that much profit, and the quality was shitty. So the entire project it was planned to have it in 4 months. It took almost a year. Then there came additional things they wanted to invoice, so it was really, really shitty. And after that, luckily, we got my colleague from Germany who helped us out with this, and we got it on a solid base, and now everything is fine. But it was, this is like my horror story. That was the worst nightmare, this collaboration that I ever had. And they weren't ready for this project.
Do you wish, if you could go back and do something different, do you think testing them would have helped you avoid this in some way?
We worked with them for other projects and they were okay-ish, but this project we did with them was also related with an API that gets some data from was related to cars from another database and put them into this. And I think they have never done this before. And we figured out in the process that they were not able to deliver this, or didn't know how to do it. And yeah, so when I would be able to go back next time, also you notice, maybe let's pay a bit more for something and do it right, instead of doing something cheap and you have to do it again.
I think that's a really great point, and something that we can all get really stuck out on at sometimes is price and going for the cheaper option because we're going to make a better profit margin. But you have to think about as well long term, right? So yeah, maybe we don't make as much money right now, but if we wait and do the project really well with somebody who's like expensive or like is a little bit more costly, then like in a year's time, that client's going to come back to us for more work, and the year after that, and the year after that. So do you want to start off with a really solid relationship and a really solid foundation, or do you want to just go like down the cheap route and do a shit job and then they leave and you lose a client who could have been somebody that is like good money for much longer, right? And to go from there. In terms of people that you want to partner up with, right? Usually it's people that you don't have a similar skill set, but you want to offer the client that service. And I know for a fact that sometimes we have deals with other agencies where you can get 10 or 15% commission. And that's really important, right, Sebastian, to have those sort of terms set up before you even send the client to them so you don't get shot in the foot.
Yep. Also to understand, so when we have a call for a partner, so we have first the call, and we also want to understand the process. How does their process look like? If I would be the client, to understand better at what stage are they? Are they still a startup that just wants to partner up because they want the money? Or are they already in a place where they have lots of experience and have already a process for their clients? And the best is, like, you give them the client, they are in safe hands, they get the result delivered, and the only thing that you get after you got this, you get your 15 or 20% commission, and you say, amazing, and the client is happy with the work. And that should be the thing. And with marketing, it's more, of course, about transparency, and also to keep you in the loop. So I put you in CC when I write to the clients that we got from you, so that you know what's going on. Even if you don't do anything right now regarding the marketing, but you know what's going on. And especially when you have Webflow websites, it's a back and forth, because we say, hey, from conversion optimization point of view, you need to optimize here something, maybe to add something here. The content should be more like this, and this you can only do with someone that has the skills for it, and with someone that you trust to each other and where you can communicate.
I totally agree. And I think that's a big thing as well, making sure that you're still aware of what's going on without being left in the dark. And maybe you as an agency owner can give your own input as well. You still want to be showing off as an expert, so turning up to meetings that the marketing company are conducting, so that you can still be professional and be there and have some presence. And I think a really big kind of part of this, talking about working with the other agency, is allowing them to do their process and allowing you to do yours, and try not to allow too much crossover in terms of trying to adapt your process to fit theirs, or getting them to adapt to fit their process to fit yours. Because at the end of the day, they've got a process that they've been using for however many years or months, and that's really working for them, and your process is really working for you. So it's much better to think about this, guys, as like two separate entities rather than trying to mash your two companies together. You might as well, if you're going to do that, just merge the two companies together and buy one another out. But it's really important to have that separation still. It's really key to allow each other to breathe and do their work well, you know.
Yeah, and another thing that just came up, because, you know, we are in Romania, and I remember at the beginning you were like with your UK clients, I don't know, when I say this is a Romanian agency, I don't know what they might think. And yeah, I think the best is to be transparent with the client, and to schedule a call, even if you would come from more eastern parts, so because it's related also that the quality of work is maybe lower. The client needs to have also a good feeling and need to trust. And I think this is also an important point, because some are saying, oh, I don't know if I partner up with them, and then I want to give them to the client, and they see they are from, I don't know, Asia or also Romania or something. I think it doesn't matter if they are professional. You can work with everybody, but you should have a good feeling when you partner up with them. If you have already like doubts or see some red flags, then don't do it, or make, as I said, a small test project maybe for yourself to see how it's working, and then think of yourself, if you would give it to a customer, would your customer be happy with it?
I totally agree. And I think it's important as well, maybe that first meeting, to go in with them and make sure that you're there holding their hand with the process when they book the call with the other agency. Be present, be a good advisor. If they don't like the agency that you suggest, either tell them that they should go and do some research and look for other agencies themselves, or you can happily advise on more agencies. It's good to have a couple of people that you can rely on rather than just one option. Have your primary, like, these are my guys, these are the guys I've worked with the longest, I would recommend them, but also maybe have a couple backup ones as well, in case they don't like that one, or there isn't a good fit, the agency doesn't like them, something like that. And you can easily then have these sort of deals going on. The main reason that we're saying about this, Sebastian, right, is at the end of the day, it helps build recurring income, because even though you're only getting 10 to 15% of the contract value every month, it's still money that you're getting every month that you wouldn't have otherwise got, right?
Yeah.
I think is super important to have, because at the end of the day, web designers and even marketing agencies sometimes, can really go from rags to riches to rags when they're starting out. When they get their first client, they do 2-3 months and then they finish. And building longer term contracts, it's really helpful. In terms of contracts as well, like it's probably a good idea to have a contract with the other marketing agency, right? Something formal that's set up that says, okay, this is what we're going to do moving forward.
Also NDA, of course, and what also comes to my mind, you maybe also work, for example, with photographers or when you do video production. So this is also important. When you work with them, you can let yourself send you some videos, some photographs, in order to see if this is what you would like, so you can recommend this person. Especially for the videos, I have a really specific taste, what I want to see. And if I see there are only stock photos and things like this together to put and some sound that is also like from somewhere, I'm like, no way, this doesn't work like this.
Yeah, definitely. And again, it's really important. I've made the mistake of like when you're building a website and the client says, yeah, we want a photographer. You're like, yeah, I'll handle it. You go find the photographer, you pay for it out of your pocket, out of the budget, for example, or you charge the client more. But it's much better, I find, to actually just recommend people instead of trying to bring them under your company and try and create a process for them on the fly. Instead, just find a company and just say to your client, I would recommend these guys, I like their style. Go and talk to them and set up a deal yourself, rather than trying to set up a deal with me where I then have to manage them. I then have to try and do a process with them. And it's a lot of extra headache, right? That you don't need. And that just ties into the whole keeping yourself separate from their work to your work. And I think, that really does cover a good amount, really.
Yeah, I would say, to sum it up, to answer the question, should you team up with another agency to offer more services? Yes, but follow the things we just mentioned.
Yeah.
To make it work for you and not to have the same experience that we had. And of course, if you have other suggestions or questions or comments, just put it under our video. Let us know what you think about it. If you partnered up already with somebody, what did you experience? What are your stories? I'm eager to hear.
Yeah, really nice. So in summary, I guess, to talk about everything, work with another company because it'll help you build some recurring revenue. Make sure you test them. Make sure that you check them out, have a call with them, have a contract set up with them so you know what to do. Remember to keep your two companies separate. You don't want to manage the marketing company. You don't want the marketing company to manage you. And it's always a recommendation when you're talking to a client. I recommend these guys go have a chat with them, hold your client's hand, go into the meeting with them if they're feeling a bit scared. And yeah, just make sure the agency that you're working with, you've built a good relationship with. I mean, I've nearly been working with you now, Sebastian, for a year. So I would say you and I know each other much better than I would if I was going to another marketing agency down the road, or at least I'd like to think so. So it's all about rapport and building. But I think, end it there. So if you want to follow Sebastian on any platform, it's RE7 on Instagram, RE7 on YouTube. We've got Sebastian Bayer on LinkedIn as well. You can find me on any platform. I'm Harry Roper on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Imaginary Space on Instagram. Please give us a subscribe if you've enjoyed this content. It lets us know that we're putting out the right kind of videos. Leave a like if you did like it, and if you didn't like it, tell us down in the comments what we can do to improve overall. But apart from that, thanks guys, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.